Shia LaBeouf is an artist. Welcome to his museum. He brought you such works as watching all of his movies in a theater back to back, and wearing a paper bag.
Do it! Make your dreams come true!
But now he's ready to unveil his magnum opus.
He will not divide us!
He won't divide us.
Their message from Astoria, Queens, broadcast for the world to see. Camera feed will be up 24 hours a day for at least 4 years.
The media called it a triumph, the first great art of the Trump era.
Will not divide us. He will not divide us.
But unfortunately for Shia, Pole appreciates art too, and they wanted to express themselves on camera as well.
But you're so supreme. Oh, I give my life, not for honor, but for you.
In my time, there'll be no one else.
It's the way I fly to you.
I'm still in a dream.
Pole had one goal in mind, to take over the exhibit and trigger Shia.
A lot of people criticize the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, but I personally thought it was fantastic. You will not divide us.
By day 2, Shia is getting sick of hearing about Pepe.
Pepe! You will not divide us! Pizzagate is real! Shia LaBeouf is a rich white liberal who doesn't care about the working class. Clearly.
Six hours later,
You will not divide us. Is that a little speaker? Whose speaker is that?
Pole learned that Shia was particularly triggered by Nazi role-playing, so it became a game to make Nazi references while he was on camera.
What's up? Bang bang. Hitler did nothing wrong.
In a rage, he sexually assaulted some dude. Then Sam Hyde showed up.
Heaves will not divide us. Heaves will not divide us. All right, Shia, you're not a real artist, man. I just want to red pill Shia on the truth about the Holocaust.
Yo, be careful. Be nice out here. Hey, be nice out here. You're surrounded now.
But it all came tumbling down. Off camera, because of a misunderstanding, he assaulted one of his own supporters. The police caught the event, and he was arrested.
You will not divide us. You will not divide us.
He was deported back to Los Angeles the next day. Soon after, they also had to put up a fence. A wall, if you will, and now only 5 people at a time can come in, and they are very well vetted. But credit where it's due. Although this was not good art, Shia had created one of the most fascinating things to watch on the internet. And here are a few of the best featured characters. The Milky Bar
You
Pimp,
know that's hate speech.
Milk is a symbol of something?
Yes, towards black people. Subliminal racist type of things they do. They try to say that, like, black people are lactose intolerant. Like, just purposely drink milk outside very obnoxiously. How'd you get my phone number? How'd you get my phone number? I haven't given out my phone number. Did you hear that? At the end he said Hitler did nothing wrong. There's so many racist people calling me right now.
AIDS Bjorn,
Bjorn.
Bjorn. I don't use the word Nazi lightly. No Nazi. Make America fight Nazis again. I love you and I love these people. Fuck off, Nazi.
People started chanting, "My wife's son, my wife's son," calling him a cuck.
My son! My wife's son! My wife's son! My wife's son!
The guy is standing right behind you, the pedophile.
What's your name?
Brittany Venti. I came there to trigger people, and it was great.
But there are many, many more. It is the single best reality TV show on the internet right now, and it is going on for the next 4 to 8 years.
Is that a little speaker?
War has changed. It's an endless series of proxy battles fought by mercenaries and machines. Nanomachines inside their bodies enhance and regulate their ability.
After defeat on the battlefields of New York and New Mexico, Shia headed to a new hidden location. No more chanting or interaction. This latest exhibit would just be a flag waving arrogantly in front of a camera. There were no landmarks, no scenery, no clues at all to its whereabouts. It would be impossible to find, and nothing could stop the broadcast. Checkmate. And this would allow Shia to act smug for the next 4 to 8 years. That is, unless Pol's agents could find a way to track it down. Challenge accepted. It was to be the greatest game of capture the flag ever. Pol began organizing. They set about gathering all the information they could on the local environment, trying to match up cloud, wind patterns, and ambient noise. Because it was a live stream, they could match the time of sunset to quickly discern that the flag was somewhere in the Eastern time zone. That's 2/3 of the country ruled out in one move. Others began looking into intel about Shia's whereabouts, as it was highly likely that he was present for the raising of the flag itself. As time went on, distinct noises could be heard in the background, the croaking of frogs, suggesting water nearby. Then, the second big break. In the distance, just faintly, 2 jet streams. Pol quickly opened a live feed of all of the air traffic across the eastern seaboard, but identifying these 2 lines, amongst all of this, would be a challenge. Meanwhile, social media trackers found this post. At a small town diner in Tennessee, this waitress couldn't help but brag about her run-in with Shia. It was another big break. TMZ also reported that Shia had been seen fly fishing in the area. The search was closing in on Greenville, Tennessee. The hunt was moving much faster now. According to the aviation team, 2 more planes would soon be flying overhead. If they could be spotted on the live stream, Pol would have confirmation. Bingo. To further narrow down the search area, the aviation team started charting all of the flight paths of spotted planes. But they still needed more information, and as day turned to night, they got it. Pol's astronomy division used the constellations to narrow down the angle and rough position of the camera. With this, the flight paths, and some advanced trigonometry, the candidate area had been reduced way down. Further confirmation from weather satellites backed up the claim as an agent was dispatched to the scene. As he drew close, he started honking the horn, while viewers of the live stream gave feedback as it got louder. A few minutes later, target sighted. But he couldn't just head in during broad daylight and risk Shia's wrath. Instead, he had to wait for the cloak of night. In the meanwhile, Pol got to work devising an infiltration strategy. A few hours later, the flag came down, and a MAGA hat and shirt went up. It was a beautiful moment, and it all took place on the live stream. Pol's Central Intelligence Agency had clocked Windu Season 3 in 38 hours and 14 minutes, and poor Shia was divided for a 3rd time. Could he ever recover? Could this be the end? Well, as I was editing this video, there has been an update. The stream has gone down and the MAGA hat and shirt with it, but intel indicates that the flag will be up again soon. A drone was flown over the area and you can see here that Shire is keeping guard of the flagless pole. In response, Operation Eagle Eye is on standby. The drone carries a sophisticated device. You can see here a MAGA hat, Confederate flag, and bucket. To find out what will happen next, stay tuned for Season 4. Season 4 is here, and this time it's at the Fact Museum in Liverpool.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, it's down.
Finding it wouldn't be hard. The live feed stated where the flag was. The challenge would be breaking in and taking it. Within the hour, scouts were doing recon. Hundreds of sleeper agents on pole were activated. The planning began. Plan A. Walk in the front door, take the lift up to the roof, and steal the flag. No good. Guards already disabled access to the 3rd and 4th floor. Meanwhile, an agent stakes out the cafeteria. They learn about the museum's private security, and that they're on 30-minute rotations, checking all corridors and emergency exits. Plan B. Scale the building. Here's the Fact Museum, the flag, ladder access to the platform, 24-hour CCTV, doors to the roof, and entrances to Fact and adjacent buildings. The route is simple. Walk into the neighboring complex, gain access to the roof. Across, jump over a 4-meter gap, sneak by the CCTV, and work around to the flag. Meanwhile, online, Shire and his friends were reading 4chan, ready to call the cops if they got onto the roof. So Discord teams ran counter-intel, posting fake news updates to the public forums. Plan C. Another team was experimenting with a high-wattage laser to burn the flag from a distance. Obviously that didn't work. A side quest, Operation Shialabeouf, involved a Bluetooth speaker packaged in bubble wrap, which would then be lobbed onto the roof. But 5 stories up proved to be too far to throw. Next, Plan D, as well as E and F, all involved drones. One agent worked on a flamethrower assembly. Another worked on a weed whacker attachment to cut down the flag. And another would simply attach a can of paint and drop it on the camera feed itself. While these 3 were busy fine-tuning their new sex robots, the propaganda department was hard at work on MS Paint, drafting artwork to rally the troops. Plan G, trust-based infiltration. All of a sudden, Fact inboxes were flooded with unsolicited resumes for internships and janitorial positions. Maybe soon they couldn't trust their own employees. Curators of the museum were getting spooked. Already that day, they had caught someone trying to make their way onto the roof using a fake press pass. But while plans A through G were all being debated over, 3 people with no plan at all were scaling the building. They discovered that the flagpole mechanism was locked in place with zip ties, and they hadn't brought scissors. They were almost immediately seen on the roof. Security was triggered and the police were dispatched. The 3 agents fled without getting the flag. But they managed to cause quite a scene. Police did a sweep, however no one was arrested. But it was still mission accomplished. Fact abandoned the project. The flag and live stream were taken down. Liverpool's closed. "25 hours, another record." But this isn't the end of Shire. No, The Season 5 DLC, Hindu Cabin Fever, is almost ready.
And I don't see any footsteps. Spooky, huh? And then right beside it is this huge tree that's obviously come down recently. Tree?
Do it! I brought the flag to Liverpool City. H.O. got on that shit like mad. Two fuckers climbed the building. Oh my fucking god. They forgot scissors were fucking normies. They need scissors to cut down a flag. Doesn't matter, streams down, fuckers abandon the project.
Time for a quick recap. Season 1, New York. Shire's arrested. Shut it down. Season 2, New Mexico. Someone pulled a gun. Shut it down. Fine then, we'll do a shitty flag. Stolen. Season 4, another flag, but with guards. Stolen. I'm going to sit in a cabin for a month and do nothing. Mission accomplished. And that brings us to now. The flag is back. Stationary camera, completely muted audio, no confirmed clues, just a white flag on a white wall. Time to get to work. So Shire won't be making a cameo this season. He has bigger concerns. Which is why his buddy, Luke Turner, featured here in Season 5, has taken over. So it goes live at 4 PM GMT. The first thing to determine is the source of this light. Is it a lamp or natural? Well, it's moving very slowly and its luminosity is changing. That means there's a window. The angle of the light means the window should be about here with the camera here, so the relative positions of things in the room should be like this. Next, they wait for sunset. Sunset is 8 PM GMT. Okay, that puts the flag somewhere in this zone. Does Luke have a house in this area? Yes, he does. Perfect. Time to do some recon. As it gets darker, it would be easier to see a light flashing through the window. Location confirmed. 3 hours, 58 minutes. So what now? Some people tried to fuck with the Wi-Fi router. No good. And then... nothing, really. I mean, look at this. What's the bloody point? This is no better than uploading a still image and declaring victory. Especially for art. It's boring. Now this was creating discussion. It was arguably the greatest reality TV show of the last decade. But instead we have this. So we're waiting. And we're waiting. And we're waiting. Until... holy shit, there's a fly on the flag. People flocked back to the stream. The flag itself made for a makeshift Ouija board. What was he communicating? What clues could this fly provide? D? H? High definition. Why? What does it mean? Of course, people like to watch television in high definition, particularly when there's a football game or Game of Thrones or something, and when that happens, often people order food in so that they don't have to miss anything. The most common kind of delivered food is pizza. That's it. Send the house dozens of pizzas. Alright. They did this. Let me just say, they did this, and they shouldn't have. Because it's... Come on. It's not funny. I mean, it's a little bit funny, but it's not right. You're animals. Animals do that kind of thing. Don't do that. Thank you. Look, as I'm making this video, nothing really has happened outside of tracking down the flag. No one has taken it. There have been plans to give it an upgrade. But there's a good chance that nothing will happen, that the stream will be like this for the next 3.5 to 7.5 years. But, after 5 long seasons, the only way he can say, "He will not divide us," is by locking himself and the flag away from the world. But I suppose there's a bigger question here to be asked. If a man protests with a flag, but no one tunes in to see it, did the protest ever really happen? It was the show that should have ended seasons ago. A man, perhaps undivided, but almost certainly alone.
All by myself, don't wanna be all by myself anymore. All by myself, don't wanna live all by myself anymore.